And just like that. And just like that. Just
my heart, Tokyo. I was like, okay, so we're back. Let's do a take 2, like battle mode, Friday Night Fights, week 2, take 2.
Exactly.
What's up, everyone? Welcome. My name is Ketchup, and joined by the ever so hard-working Tokyo Punch-Out to bring you week number 2 of the Doom Eternal Battle Mode Friday Night Fights. We're just going to pretend this intro didn't happen. This is where it began, yeah? So if anyone else says it,
how it started. It started just like this. So yeah, just let's give everybody sort of like that warm-up, that kind hello. So if you're just joining us now for the first time and you ask yourself, what is battle mode? How does it work in Doom Eternal? Well, let me just give you a little bit of a primer. So in battle mode, it's Doom Eternal's very new, very cool, completely id software designed multiplayer mode where it tests the absolute speed of DPS, weapon switching, chainsawing, glory killing, use of equipment, literally everything, dash, double jump, how to basically do the Doom dance as a Slayer, that pure test of skill. That's one side. So that's your single Slayer versus basically the world, but the world in battle mode is specifically 2-player demons. And you would think, okay, it's skill versus skill. Of course there's skill on both sides, but I gotta tell you, Ketchup, it's the tactics. Walk us through how these tactics work with 2 demon players being coordinated. How does it work?
So, I mean, in the sort of similar vein to other asymmetric multiplayer experiences, the demons, it is the whole tagline of strategy versus skill.
For sure.
The demon teams, if they don't work together, they're not going to win. However, the game gives them a lot of different ways to work together to get a win, right? You can summon demons, you can buff yourself, you can upgrade your damage reduction, your speed, whatever it might be. You can heal, you can dish out more damage. You're going to see over the course of the stream kind of why that's the case, but you need to use your brain a little bit. And if you're not doing that, the Slayer's going to win quite convincingly. But as is the theme with Friday Night Fights, the entire purpose is to showcase some of the best battle mode players in the business. Doom does have a sort of competitive high-level community. It really started its roots at a very community level with Doom 2016.
For sure.
We have got a couple of those players. Really, they sort of planted their roots in the old community days of the Sunday series, which Tokyo used to run back in the day. Well, that's where New Classic came from. New Classic is a prominent Doom PC clan, and a couple of those members are playing today in NzTa and Swan, and they are going to be the player-controlled demons. They play together all the time, so it's, you can expect to see some good stuff there. And then Miss Heartbeat, who has really kind of found her footing in Doom Eternal, starting with FPS before, but this is kind of where she's kind of found her feet, right?
Exactly. So it's really, really cool because one of my favorite things about new multiplayer modes is seeing new blood in these multiplayer modes. So SwanSong and NzTa were pretty well established in Doom 2016. With New Classic, they did their thing. They were feared, they were loved, they were respected, all that stuff. Miss Heartbeat, new on the scene. I'm so excited by all the play that I've seen come out of this player. She is killing it. She is awesome. She is showing it how slaying is done. It's like a slaying 101 watching her play. So we're going to have all those guys on stream after the match, but do you want to kind of set up how we're going to do this? It's a little bit different than how we've done it before with Friday Night Fights.
Yeah, so last week's Friday Night Fights was a kind of triple stream experience, and that was viewers could tune into the individual streams and watch them that way, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
We are trying something different this time around. We've been working with an editor to put together essentially the maps that took place. These were pre-recorded maps. Tokyo does not know the outcome, which is important for the term of live commentary, right?
Very
we're trying
excited.
to sort of put on what would competitive Doom Eternal look like?
Exactly.
And the sort of goal for today is to work with editing, capture all 3 point of views where necessary, and kind of just create this new thing that we haven't really seen before. And I'm really excited for the viewers to see it. I'm really excited to see what you think. And battle mode at this level is truly a unique experience, and it is something very special, especially with this caliber of players. So hope you guys enjoy it. And when you're ready, Tokyo.
All right, so first map. Do you want to kind of set the scene for what map we're going to be looking at as we hit play in 3, 2, 1? Friday Night Fights, let's go.
Boom. So map number 1 is going to be Penance. Penance is a map that there's a lot more open space than you might think for the sort of floaty demons. The demon loadout, of course, it's Marauder and Pain Elemental. This is kind of the tried and true combo that NzTa and Swan have consistently rocked together. And Penance, I mean, there's lots and lots of open space. And if you're kind of like a flying demon like Swan is, you need to be very careful with your kind of angles. You have to be very careful to not put yourself in harm's way. But you have got the benefit of a larger stack. Now, if you're NzTa, the Marauder, you can dish out a lot of damage, and yes, you have got the benefit of a much smaller hitbox. However, you have a lower stack. You know, you've got 2,000 HP, a Talented Slayer. It's very easy for them to kind of shred you with that.
Exactly, and you'll see already, like, Miss Heartbeat is getting in these sneaky shots. She's using the quick switch. She's using, like, here's what I love. So using quick switch, you can tell she's using the precision scope from the heavy cannon. She's using ballista, just the base damage because it's so high. But I love the way that she will use meat hook on the super shotgun for, like, almost pure traversal. It's like a sight to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a consistent thing that you're already noticing Miss Heartbeat do is the fact that when you see the Pain Elemental's shield appear, kind of counteracting with your own chain gun shield. It's kind of to fight fire with fire and waste the clock. As we can see now, the demon's resurrected, so NzTa's going to be back. But this kind of is advantage Heartbeat. She's got tons of damage peppered out. She's keeping the demons separated. And even though the Marauder is a damage dealer, in this kind of 1v1 situation before the upgrades come into account, the Marauder's not the most amazing at winning these kind of encounters. Like, all it takes is a little bit of that kind of really key weapon usage that we can see from here. You know, it's the ballista for the 600 damage, the SSG for point blank range. This kind of stuff will shred a Marauder in a 1v1 situation. But again, Swan spawned back up top near the top spawn, way too far away to really capitalize. And this is just survival mode. You know, Heartbeat just needs to get the final few hits in this situation. Can't quite land the hits. All Swan has to do now is just wait that clock. Fair to assume he's going to go down now, and there's the chain gun, and it's over. Round 1 done. No escape for you, mate. Sorry, try again later.
But this is where stuff gets really spicy. So in the between rounds, you get to pick these upgrades. Of course, we see that Miss Heartbeat's got the dash. It's just the quicker regenerate. You need that. But there's some really cool picks here for the demons. And I want to just say, Fit Meatball. So you need to have basically your dash and the way you move around be even quicker so that in those situations where you might be 1v1, you have more escape ability, which for the Pain Elemental, you're that floating meatball in the sky. You're the eye in the sky. You're always constantly doing the shout outs for you're kind of like the tactical eye in the sky, but you need to be able to get out of harm's way from those long shots of the ballista, of the precision scope, of this chain gun that she seems to pop in unison when Swan pops his shield, that soul shield.
Yeah, and at the same time, NzTa's rocked in the bigger bar. I think that's really important for just making you that tiny bit tankier in these kind of 1v1 situations. And yeah, right now, the Fit Meatball, it's all about trying to deny those angles. It's fair to assume that Talented Slayer is going to get those shots on you. But unfortunately, here comes the damage loot block. Really important. Got to shut down that loot. But getting it in unison, easier said than done. But when you're in voice comms, setting up who gets first block and then kind of rotating that, that's the solution. But now, out of ammo. This is the key. Heartbeat. This is really kind of like the skeleton key for the demons to start establishing pressure. The second the Slayer has run out of ammo... Oh, no! There's the ballista. Never mind. Spoke too soon. We're back to a 1v1 that this Pain Elemental is not going to win.
No. I mean, the Pain Elemental in this case, this is a tough map. It's not a ton of hiding that can be done. As you can see here, Swan got caught with his meatball out because there was between him floating and a couple of pillars. So now, again, end of round upgrades. Let's go through them quickly here, catch up.
Yeah, Master Carve, it's all about just getting more chainsaws. More chainsaws mean more ammo. Tactician, it means that your actions last longer, and the cooldowns are heavily reduced. And Best Friend, pretty much kind of like the wolf buff, but at the same time, when a wolf attacks, you get that kind of damage reduction, which works wonders because NzTa, rocking the offensive action set, already has access to 1 damage reduction action set, and action skill, sorry, is the term. And then combining those just means that now Marauder is a little bit more difficult to deal with. But that's kind of the evolution of these rounds. The Slayer's upgrades are kind of an extended arm of what is already there, but the upgrades for the demons will drastically change. And here comes that 2v1 presence. Heartbeat putting a lot of focus on this Pain Elemental, but the Marauder has other plans, peppering out some of that damage. You'll notice the action sets, the skills are already ready to go. And right now, NzTa kind of just getting some free damage. Heartbeat is not focusing him at all.
And you saw that the wolf is out. It's giving chase. It's giving NzTa as a Marauder a little bit of an option. Like even right now where he's in this 1v1 situation, that wolf can buy him some precious time where she has to deal with the wolf if it's coming to attack her.
Yep, and I really love that play. She focused Swan almost immediately, because to take out the tank first, the tank is not only there to soak up the damage, but it's the utility. Right. SwanSong really loves to rock that defensive set, which comes with a heal. But again, putting more focus on Swan, but just giving up all of this free damage to a very angry NzTa, who is just laying on that pressure, and a really good use of that Noxious Field, shutting down the escape option. And there, she had a choice between stairs and death or forward and death. Now, power upgrades, this is where things really start to change. The Sentinel Infused gives you much more stack as the Slayer. Now, this is what I want to talk about, the double team heal. It means that you can just sustain way longer. You can no longer be hyper-aggressive on demons because they will just last it, and you will come off worse almost every time.
Exactly. Like the double team heal, just like when you both have Noxious Hazard, to be able to stack that, like there's three things. There's team heal, there's Noxious Hazard, and of course you've got just your loot block in general. And if you watch top tier demon players like you see right here with NzTa and SwanSong, the way that they will stack that, the way that they will like cascade those two things to perfectly come out in unison, where as soon as one is over, the other starts. So she will leave a Noxious Hazard and you will see all of a sudden there will be another one that she has to enter into because they just place them in a stack. Same with that loot. Like watch the loot blocks in this round, watch them in every round, and see how they basically stack them and try to keep her choked out of basically as many resources as they can. Because as you know, the Slayer is so dangerous. The Slayer can always be popping Flame Belch. There is chainsawing for ammo. There is glory killing for health. And as you saw, she started with the higher stack this round, so she is really dangerous and still has a pretty healthy stack right now.
Yep, and at the same time, this is where the cutting off comes here from NzTa, using the damaging Aurea just to, when you know there's some guaranteed movement. Obviously, the Slayer and the dash makes it kind of hard to pin them down. But if there's any time your movement is set in stone, not a bad time to go for the damage right there. NzTa is going to take it, and now the chase is going to be made again. But it's the constant use of that chain gun shield to just try and soak up a little bit more damage. In this kind of situation, she has to make a choice. Does she try and back up and restack, or does she try and take out one of these demons and get the guaranteed stack that you can't block? Fair to assume if they have a block, they're going to use it. And it's a really stressful situation. NzTa now is going to try and lay this pressure on, but she is not healthy at all. Far from it. And even though she managed to get through the teleporter, this is a scary position. And see, the low health is there. Meat hook to try and stack. Get that free shield as well.
You've got a really risky spot there, too, where like when she had SwanSong down the way that she did, like sometimes you'll see, like as she did this time, you just keep pushing and you finish SwanSong, you get him off the board. But the issue with that is when you do that, if you, instead of just keeping him on the board and keeping him low, now you're dealing with another demon who has full health, and now it's counting down against you to get that other demon buddy back. And again, they've got double team heal going into this, so you know there is a lot of possibility for re-upping, for sort of like gathering yourself and maybe causing a little bit of distance, and they have her on her back heal round. Ooh, that Noxious Hazard was so good. But look, she went in for the chainsaw and loot block came out just in time to deny most of that.
But this is still not a good situation. The second the Slayer is on the back foot and they're having to work to not win, but to not die, you are forever at the disadvantage. And you can tell that NzTa and Swan, they can really smell that blood in the water, and they're just super being crazy aggressive. And you actually notice the Heartbeat, she's doing a good job of getting the stack back up, but stack is not ammo. And if you don't have ammo, you don't have access to those really crucial weapons that can kind of delete the health bar. And you can see here, like, you know, the team heal is still ready to go. It is that constant sustain. You know, you're so used to, as the demons, getting consistently pressured down and chipped away by the Slayer, and then kind of reaching a point of no return. Here, thanks to the double team heal, you can really top yourself off whenever you want. And here, she's sticking around to try and fight because, you know, you have no choice at this point. Swan is weak, but maybe biting the forbidden fruit too soon. That was just the complete go-ahead for NzTa. Nothing to worry about. As you can see, the team heal was still there. And we're rocking straight back into this final round. No more upgrades to go with. This is going to be a repeat of what we just saw. But what are the adjustments going to be?
Exactly. And you saw how smart it was that at the very end of that round, they were both playing their parts to a T, where NzTa was giving chase with the Marauder. He's got the mobility. He's got that super shotgun up close, which does so much damage. And you had SwanSong just hanging out, being the eye in the sky, being ready for the teleporter if she popped through. And that was just textbook how to play demons right there in that round.
Absolutely. And you can see right now as well, it's using that meat hook to just try and get that extra mobility. It's a common tactic that we see Slayers at a high level use. Is if they need to navigate, if you're going to see one of those smaller little demons, just get that meat hook and get that free 20 armor. You really need it. But this is perfect positioning, actually. Both players kind of had the top and tail of the jump pad, but now actually getting some huge damage out there. And Swan is going to just drop. NzTa, this is not a good situation. Yeah, he's got access to the damage, and he's got a team heal, but with the damage that Heartbeat can output, this is still going to be quite a scary 1v1. We're going to see if he can survive. Super awkward as the demon, not having the same access of damage that you need to just give up as little angles as possible. These demons can sometimes help body block, but is it going to be enough to matter? We can see Swan just respawned. Not a huge amount of things ready to rock, though, so limited resources here.
True, but he has his shield up, and you saw how, like, when NzTa was doing that merry-go-round, he did bring out the Arachnotron, because, like you said, that body block of demons is just another area of denial. Think about like a noxious hazard that doesn't move, and if you get close, it will bite.
Yep.
But now we got the team heal going out, and she shoots.
There's the extra element too.
Yep.
Yeah, it's really important to do that. I was mentioning that often players, they'll be deterred from spawning a demon if it's already in play. The thing is, in this kind of situation, if the Slayer's already got loads of health, you kind of need the extra utility. And NzTa, nothing available here, and that's going to be a 3-2. But I think for a map 1, I think both sides had to sweat quite a lot to get through that one.
I would say so for absolute sure. And I think it isn't complete unless we sort of bring him in here, all the fighters, all of our valiant fighters, and sort of have a chat with them. So let's see if we can ping the Lords of Discord. Shout out to Discord to sort of summon them. Let's see if we can just. Did it work? Are you guys here?
Yeah.
Hey.
Okay.
Is everyone here? It sounds like it is. I was really nervous. I will be honest. After the invisible Tokyo incident at the start of the stream, I wasn't sure. But everyone is indeed in the house. How's it going, guys?
It's
going good.
I
It's great seeing you.
apologize if I miss anything you're saying. The Discord call is sort of robot-y.
All good.
Oh, I see.
All good. You know what? I feel like there was almost some robot-y plays in there. You guys were throwing up some crazy, almost like automatic responses to like such perfect situational awareness on both of your guys' side. Let's start with Miss Heartbeat. As the Slayer, you're coming from the campaign. You've learned this Doom dance. Like, give us a little background as far as like you are so new to this scene, and I'm so excited to see you. Like, where do you come from? Where do you go? Where do you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? That's the last reference I'll make to Cotton Eye Joe in the stream. I swear to God. What's up?
That's brilliant. So I'm very new. I got my start in this community just from watching streamers play 2016 on Ultra Nightmare.
Nice.
Since then, I've been growing in the Twitch streams. I've been helping out with being a moderator, and
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm really enjoying the people that I've met along the way.
Yeah. So speaking of being a moderator, what are some of these 2016 Ultra Nightmare guys that you know or girls you've been maybe moderating for? Is there any shout outs?
There's Bite Me, Red Warrior,
Legend.
Haz.exe.
Oh my God.
Let's see. There's a few others that I don't mod as well. There's Dangerous, King Dime.
Oh my God.
Shouts to Dime.
Yeah.
Sorry,
the homie.
sorry if I'm forgetting anyone. There's just so many.
That's amazing.
So many people.
Wow. That's
But
super
I love
cool.
them all.
And then it wouldn't be complete in battle mode without two tactical minded demons coordinating at all times through communication and just poise. SwanSong, NzTa. What's up, guys?
Yo.
So it's obvious that Miss Heartbeat has been getting osmosis from all these amazing players, because when we first saw her, we were like, okay, who is this? And then we saw her play, and it was like she was playing against us, and it was like, damn, she's good. And she has like this mindset of like the thing with the Slayer is if you W key too much and you face a good set of demons, that's trouble. So you have to kind of wrap your brain. Like, you can go beat this game in Ultra Nightmare and go, swinging in, thinking you're gonna murder everyone, and you probably will do a good job with, some of the like people that are just getting to know the game.
Yeah.
But if you get some experience as demons, you can't just do that. And
right. You
she
can't
does
just
a
like
great
face roll
job.
and come in, right? Exactly. Yeah.
She does a great job of using her meat hook to get away, getting angles. I mean, the first time that Ketchup and I played her, we were trying to like, wow, she's
Mate,
hitting
Swan,
everything.
we said we weren't going to talk about this, right? We said we weren't going to talk about this. You know?
We promised we wouldn't bring it up. We promised
You'll be
we'd bring
hearing
it
from my lawyer, mate. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. But I mean, actually, I want to Swan while you're here. I really like sort of really old pieces of history coming to light. For the modern community that may not know about certain events or certain things, whatever it might be for whatever
sure.
game.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, SwanSong is like a Doom, one of the originals, like an old school. We talk about old school. Swan, how long have you been playing Doom? Like from
Oh
like a
my
competitive
God.
level, right? Because you're known as
Yeah.
like a really good deathmatch player. Even in Doom 2016, you would win all the free for alls, or most of them at the very least. You're always right up there, and that was just one Doom that you were super good at. So, what is your Doom legacy? Run the people through it.
I mean, I started in 1993 shareware, and when I could first connect and play with my buddy, we played at the first time over modem and just geeking out like, oh, move left. He's 30 miles away, and we're like just totally geeking out. So a week later, we play each other, because we played each other the first time. And it was kind of like even or whatever. So a week later, and I'm killing him, I'm just creaming. And he's like, what the hell, dude? You've just been playing this all day. I go, man, you haven't? So then it started. So the plunge, I was hooked there. So then it became trying to search for people to play. I mean, I answered like people on AOL. There's this lawyer, I shit you not, there's this lawyer who said, hey, I have an office, a LAN office. Whoever wants to come and play, come and play.
What?
So then I go over there and play at this LAN office, and then went to BBS. And I've always been competitive. I'm the youngest out of 6 kids, so it's like one of those things, And I did that, and then it went to IRC, and then playing Q test, and then challenging all the people on IRC, and getting a chance to play Sean Green at the time was like the best guy at ID.
Yeah, it's
making him bang his keyboard at QuakeCon on Q test, and that was cool. So then it just kept on snowballing. You went to QuakeCon, and I did. I was doing pretty well in free for all there, and I've always loved these games, and I just try to stay relevant. Always been competitive, always a gamer.
And I think you have. From one old man to another, you're a legend. Us dinosaurs have to stay alive. We have to keep this going. Speaking of folks our age, I see an absolute legend in chat. I'm just gonna give a little shout out to. I think his name is Hugo Not 76. He says he knows me, but let's be honest, I know him. Hugo Martin is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give an F in chat. It looks like that.
Didn't give me time to do my hair, man.
I know. Guys, everybody. Hugo's in chat. And huge shout out again. The man, the legend, the game designer of Doom Eternal, hugely responsible for this amazing mode, and just an absolute lovely human being. And also, I see, oh God, there's so many. God, it's just nothing but folks in here that we know and love. We got Jitsu from our stream yesterday. What up, Jitsu? We got Frothy Omen. We got so many. There's Bite Me. There's the whole family's here, and we are so glad to be here with you. And speaking of family and new classic. How are you feeling tonight, NzTa?
Feeling good.
Dude,
I got off work.
Oh, snap. We just caught you like, you're just going 1-to-1. Just you go to work, you punch your card, you go to your next job. Your next job is just to show up. I got to ask you, like, I know that you've been playing a ton of battle mode. The other night we were talking about it, and I was like, hey, did you complete your weekly challenges? You're like, what podium were you on at that point? I think you were on...
I don't know.
The golden one, maybe, where you've got every single battle mode achievement already?
Where you do the 50 matches with every demon.
Exactly, and you did that. You did that in what, like last Saturday or something?
Yeah, the last Saturday.
It's that dedication.
We were grinding for it the other day. I remember it. It wasn't long ago.
That's incredible. So
it's amazing looking, but gold just isn't my taste. So.
Oh, I like that. Cause yeah,
it still looks great.
Cause Miss Heartbeat, I think you have like the most boosters I've ever seen In game, how many boosters do you have right now?
I couldn't believe it.
Currently, I think it's around 150. It's insane.
You only get 3 per person, so that's 150 people that are like, please take this booster and give me back all that sweet bonus XP.
If I'm gonna lose over and over again, the suffering may as well have a bonus.
Exactly.
Help you on your journey.
That's amazing. So NzTa, talk to me about the Marauder. Like, I've seen you play a lot of demons, but like, why do you gravitate towards the Marauder more than most?
I picked the Marauder just because it seems to be the biggest damage dealer of all the demons. I can always dish out the most damage with that shotgun.
I do love how, like, I've noticed that I see you throw axes, but like, you're very sparing with those because it feels like you really know how to push and do that damage with the super shotgun. Like, is that just like over time you discovered that, or is that always just like, you're like, I have a shotgun in my hand, so why wouldn't I use that? Like, where's your head at on that?
Just feels like more consistent damage to just use the shotgun more, because you can miss with the axe easier than the shotgun.
True. Very true.
I usually only use axes long range or just like for splash damage. Like if I know they're going somewhere, I can lay it on the floor.
That makes total sense.
Splash damage.
That's a good call. So I'm like forgetting and just like zoning out because I'm having such a good time. Like, this is best of 3, and that was 1 match.
Yes. So we've done 1 map already. I know the next one.
Something like 7 matches. These are just the best ones that we thought were good enough.
That's awesome. And good enough. My
Okay.
God, there are. My God, there are. I feel like it's like I want to go straight to Cyndi Lauper. Goonies good enough because I'm nothing apparently but old song references. So on that note, I'm gonna ask the gods of Discord to just go, we will see you in a second. And as you guys poof away into the magic of the internet, catch
Pulled
up.
a sneaky on you.
My friend, are we ready for the next match?
Yes, so the next map is going to be Tundra. It is a natural change of pace. Penance is quite out in the open. There's lots of real estate to work with. Tundra is kind of the polar opposite. It is a very kind of close quarters, up close and personal map that does sometimes naturally enforce different end of round upgrades because you might want to go for sustainability.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might be damage. It's very kind of personalized, especially from the side of the Slayer. But naturally, I think it's about time to show it because it's one very different map into a very different map, and it should be pretty good.
I completely agree. And as I switch and we go off into the ether, I just wanted to point out, I don't even know, like, I think we're so in tune with puns right now that when you said it's the polar opposite, I was just like, let's go.
I didn't even mean
Let's
it.
go to the Arctic. Here it is.
If you didn't point it out, Tokyo, I would never have realized. But I will take the credit for it all the same, 100%.
I love it.
So to remind the people at home, Heartbeat did win the first map they played. This is an opportunity for the Demons to try and get back up on the horse. But NzTa and Swan, I mean, I really love the way they've rocked this loadout. As long as I've known them, these are the 2 demons they've kind of always gone with. When the chips are down anyway, you know, they can mix and match, but when they're trying to play to win, this is the combo. And almost immediately, the fight will break out. That is the nature of this map. It is so small, and some immediate poke damage coming out there from the Ballista, the Precision Bolt. Remember as well, Ballista primary shot does 600 damage, Precision Bolt does 400. Marauder's got 2,000 HP. Do the math. 2 combos of that, and the Marauder can get pasted. So you've got to be really careful with how you position yourself.
Yeah, that's why it's so fortunate that that Marauder has got the dashes kind of the same way that the Slayer does, actually. So you'll see NzTa, he's going out in the open here, but again, ooh, he got caught from behind that pillar. So unfortunate, but you know what? Swan has actually got a pretty good stack, and now it's just going to see if Heartbeat can use this crazy monolith and all these monkey bars and all this mobility in the middle of the map to basically corner him in a situation. He's trying to play merry-go-round, but he doesn't have enough of a chance, and there he goes down. But again, like you said,
against a really,
it comes down to these end-of-round upgrades. Run us through them real quick. We got the dashing coming out again for the Slayer, of course.
It's universal. It's a consistent thing that Swan and NzTa like to rock the same upgrades all the time while they kind of establish their own meta. The Fit Meatball, vital for this kind of map because you have to give up as little angles as you can for the range. The damage speaks for itself. The bigger bar to give NzTa that extra sustain. And yeah, the dash, it's just to get in and out of trouble quicker. When you're on these maps where fights are breaking out pretty much all the time, you've got to have that access to mobility. As we can see right here, yeah, there's an opening for NzTa to try and get some kind of presence. The thing about the Demons is, early on a map like this against an aggressive Slayer, you kind of need to understand that the odds are stacked against you for the first section. It's just the evolution of the mode. The more rounds you go into and the more upgrades you can take, the more dangerous it turns you into, and your own strategies can develop a little bit too. That bigger bar will make an immediate difference to just try and sustain a bit longer. We can see Swan peppering down some of those lost souls. I love Swan's use of the shield. It just makes him very hard to pin down. Speaking of pinning down, that's some wonderful rage damage. And you can see why the mobility matters to try and avoid those kind of angles. They hurt so much, Tokyo.
They really do. And I love right there. So he tried to use heal. He tried to use the volume. He tried to get in there. NzTa immediately replaces it with a Noxious Hazard. And again, Miss Heartbeat is so consistent with trading that you go shield, I go shield. And she pulls out that shield mod upgrade on the chain gun, and my God, it is effective. Okay, so she's changed her strategy a little bit here. She's going with Burning Hate. So after you Flame Belch, it basically recharges in half of the time, and everybody that you hit with that Flame Belch is going to pop up more armor. Because what is armor? It is basically health before health.
Exactly. And on the side of the demons, they took exactly the same upgrades they took last time. This was where things started to turn around on Penance, kind of going back to what I said, the evolution of the mode, where the demons get a lot more of their strategy coming through. But it is the nature of the small map. Heartbeat is going in for combat almost immediately. Wonderful use of the chain gun shield. Again, the second you see that Pain Elemental shield come up, you just match it, fire for fire. You avoid damage, I avoid damage. Wonderful use of the meat hook to try and just get out of dodge, really. But we can see that NzTa being nice and aggressive. Good use of the loot block to deny the loot. Super important this early on. If the Slayer's going to blow through this much ammo, you've got to shut it down. But NzTa just staying nice on top of things, really. Another block is going to come through to shut down Heartbeat. This is immediately quite a scary situation because she's lower on ammo. And now they're making the chase.
And you can tell how interesting it is, because before, when she chose the Carver upgrade, which is basically a faster chainsaw, it gives them less of a chance to pop that loot block. But when she went with the Flame Belch heavy version, where it comes back faster, she doesn't have that option to chainsaw as quick. And now she's got Endless Rage. This is a crazy one, because now after you chainsaw, you get 3 seconds of 50% added damage. And again, our boys on the other side sticking with that double team heal.
I think it comes down to the combative nature of this map. She understands she's going to get a lot of those glory kills or situations where they're going to try and block. She needs to make sure she's more dangerous off the back of those. However, she's going to have to make sure she's got the ammo for it. And that's one thing I was a bit concerned about here, is the idea that if the chainsaw isn't as prominent as it was before and they catch her without ammo, extra damage doesn't mean much if you've not got the ammo for those really important weapons. There's already some pressure being established here by Swan. You'll notice as well, Swan with the Pain Elemental, it's not just tank ability and utility, it's vision. The amount of stuff you can see and the data you can transfer, huge. But a fight breaking out now, NzTa taking a ton of damage, but kind of able to pay in kind. Heartbeat almost trades it pound for pound, and with the stack they've got, thanks to the use of Team Heal, I mean, now the chase is on, and this is why Team Heal is so good against a Slayer that overextends.
And every time she pops that chainsaw, there's either a loot block coming out, or you'll see NzTa pop his woof, because she's basically a solitary, like she's a standing still target that is just ready for damage. But see, every map, as we know, has 2 teleporters, one on either side with a cooldown, so you can't just pop and go back and forth. In this map in particular, it's interesting because when she went through there, they were ready, but not ready enough to start doing the body blocking, throwing the Arachnotron, throwing all that stuff in there. So they actually gave her a little bit of breathing room here, so let's see if she can recover.
Yeah, I saw out of ammo when we last saw it from Heartbeat's point of view, so this is a scary situation to be in. And again, the real sort of just stack that NzTa and SwanSong are working with kind of just makes them hard to pin down. The chase is continuing again. Heartbeat, this is the immediate change. The Slayer is the one that's in control at the very beginning once they have all of their ammo and all of their weapons. The moment they're put on the back foot, this is where it gets kind of scary, because they're constantly trying to play the survive game. Right. And now Heartbeat doing a decent job of it for now, but the stack is going down and down. NzTa being as aggressive as he can, but you've got to be careful for those angles. Doesn't stop you from being easy to take down.
Yeah,
this might be the moment, though.
He's about a hit and a half away here. But you see Swan is putting that pressure on. They're double teaming it right. The tactics are actually working. Ooh! Shield to shield. He won that shield battle. He was throwing those lost souls a little bit above, a little bit below, a little bit to the side. And again, we're in the last round now. It is 2-2. The sweat is real. What are we looking at? My buddy, catch him. What are we doing?
We're seeing some patience for sure. Okay. And I think there's a lot of respect being established here from Heartbeat. If she can get some of that range damage first, it is a classic tactic for Slayer. Kind of sit pretty near the teleporter. She's safe to assume now they're nowhere near the exit, so she's safe to go through. But this is still kind of scary. You know the team heal is there. That's a lot of information you have to digest as a Slayer, though. When do they use it? When is the cooldown going to be ready? SwanSong has Tactician and NzTa doesn't, so those cooldowns are going to be a little bit different. There's a lot of stuff you need to micromanage that you're not going to immediately know about. And Heartbeat now, the pressure's being laid on quite thick. Here comes the reduction. That damage reduction so good for the Marauder, because on top of being a small demon with the smallest hitbox, now you take less damage. It's a great combination if you're getting that much damage output.
And look at that. They're popping that team heal when they know they just have a second to breathe. Oh, they're blocking the loot. This is a tough situation. Let's see if she can get out of it. Oh, it's so...
I don't even know if she can.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
That is why Noxious Field is so dangerous.
Exactly.
Because it just creates an area. If someone... You may be invincible when you're going for a glory kill or a chainsaw. The reality is, though, you are stuck in place. Right. You're invincible, but that doesn't stop the area around you from being noxious. And if you have, you know, just enough stack that you can't really afford to sit in it, it will kill you all the same. It's a really good tactic, and it's nice timing from NzTa. Really good.
It really was. And especially when she's on the back foot like she was, when you can sort of start to think about, okay, we're leading her down this path of there's only 2 ways out, and she's kind of backed up to the point where even if she started to try to dash forward, she's still going to hit it. Let's bring him back. Let me see if I can summon from the internet through Discord. Are you guys there?
Hey.
Oh, man. This magic. Okay.
Hello.
Hell of a good match there on Tundra. Like, let's start with the demon side. So what adjustments did you guys make from the last map on Penance in Tundra to sort of turn things around to your favor?
Yeah, so she started 2-0 on us, and then I knew there's a couple of things that I was doing wrong and was being overly aggressive. So one of the adjustments I made was when before shield would go off, I would 2 or 3 seconds before it would go off, I'd go try to get cover, because to me, you're a sitting duck, right?
Yeah.
Like the meatball is the tank, but he can be killed very easily, right? When he doesn't have his cooldowns, when he doesn't have dash, he doesn't have shield. So what I did more anticipation of, like, you know what, I just need to stay alive and let NzTa do the damage, stay alive, and then when she was pressured, then that's when I have opportunities to come in. And if you notice, I only will put the shield on when she's looking at me, obviously, right? Because I would waste the cooldown on the shield if I'm just preemptively putting it up, right? So like I'll even take a shot before I do that, just to make sure I have it and have enough time to get out. You know, Penance, there's not a lot of places to hide. So, you know, I was telling Izzy, we just need to get 1 round. We get 1 round, we'll have at least 1 round where we have team heal, and then that's going to be in our favor. So we're always looking for that. We're always looking for, we have to get that 1 round so we have team heal to our, you know, disposal.
For sure.
Okay, and there's actually one thing I wanna mention is NzTa. So we saw on this map, we saw a lot more of you, and there's a lot more moving parts, right? When you play the demons and how important the maps are. But a lot of people enjoy the Marauder, but I think some players sometimes, like, you know, they might not be able to immediately find their footing because the Marauder is a smaller target. The stack isn't quite as high as it is. But you mentioned the damage, right? Like, really, I want to kind of just pick your brains about what was the difference that you feel on a map like that when you're trying to be aggressive, and what kind of stuff do you have to watch out for, right? Give me a 0 to hero.
So
how do you win with the Marauder?
basically,
Tell him. He wants to know, Niz. He needs to know. Help him. Help this man.
Help.
I mean, one thing I try to do is whenever the Slayer is focusing on you, is just to basically run away and have the other demon focus and do damage until the Slayer goes off of you. And then once the Slayer switches targets, then you can go back with the shotgun and just basically get free hits. And that's kind of how you have to play it, because if against a good Slayer, you'll get deleted instantly if you go toe to toe.
But that is that tactic that you guys do so well, that is so hard as a new player, especially when you jump in. I think as the Marauder, there's so many push forward opportunities that you feel with the skill set that you have of being able to have dash, of having double jump. But it's that rope-a-dope gameplay where you know that your buddy in the sky has his window that he has to hide, and so it's a combination of like the way you guys keep moving like back and forth and coordinating and using like the terrain to basically like safeguard you while you're like picking those places where you're not poking out and you're not giving Heartbeat those sight lines, because my God, those sight lines with Heartbeat, it's just like you see so much DPS come out. I've seen those, like her ballista to precision scope on the heavy cannon is just like NzTa, that's like half of your health if you get hit with that. So I saw like you guys were making huge adjustments too in the after the second round of being down 0-2. You guys were making all these adjustments with even the way that you were exposing yourself and the way that you guys were moving. And like every time you had her in a situation where you were putting pressure on, it always felt like her back was literally against a wall. Like it would be like the skirts of the level where all of a sudden like the only escape is basically her going around a little terrain and just trying to beeline it through that teleporter. Like I saw some really good tactical plays that you guys were doing. I was like, are these guys gonna move into like sports coaching after this? Because there is some like X's and O's being drawn. Like, congrats to you guys on that. Okay, so switching focus here. Okay, so Heartbeat, pretty handedly the first match on Penance, you showed them what open space looks like against the Slayer. Walk us through the second map on Tundra. You had a lot more options as far as all the crazy monkey bars you can do, but when they made these adjustments, like where was your head at as far as like what you were thinking as far as how to turn it back around in your favor? Because you started 2-0. Like, was it like where were you at with that basically? Like after 2-0 and you're just like, the spreadsheet is working, the damage is being done. Like the elimination is like you were doing just enough damage to one that when you switch targets to the other, like they didn't have enough time to either hide or get back on their feet between rounds, like between when one was dead and the next was back. So yeah, walk us through what Tundra was like.
Well, with Tundra, there's a lot of it's actually when you get in the air, you fly very, very far. But if once you get onto the lowest layer of the map, it's really hard to get back up, because the platforms are so much higher and the geometry is a little it's claustrophobic, you know.
For sure.
So my movement wasn't great. I probably spent a bit too much time on the ground. And when it comes to taking out the demons, like uh, I could never get enough good damage onto the Marauder. Like when I could barely see him when I was looking for him, and when I could see him, he always had his defense buff up, and
Right.
he was throwing his wolf at me. So I can't concentrate too much on the Marauder because of that, and I think in the end, because the Marauder is really throwing me for a loop in these matches, because I'll admit my accuracy isn't the best, and the only reason I'm able to do so much damage against the Pain Elemental sometimes is because he's so big and I don't have to worry about aim. Uh, it's more of a timing thing with the Pain Elemental. You need to predict his movement, you need to predict when he's going to use his shield, and I wasn't doing that well enough either.
Totally fair.
Well, that was map 2. So there's one more map we've got to go here and show everyone tuning in at home. Hopefully everyone's been enjoying this so far. It's always nice to just kind of watch battle mode with players that have been really grinding it.
For sure.
It does kind of just present a different layer. And I guess that is always something you can kind of grow to expect in this kind of asymmetric experience, that it is very heavily dependent on the skill of the players that determines kind of how the map goes. But that's quite an extreme, right? But at this level, it's really hard to call, because when it is that whole strategy and skill layer, that a Slayer has to really kind of sometimes think outside the box. Because as someone that's played against SwanSong and NzTa together, very aggressive, and they show a nice level of restraint, but also no fear. A common mistake that players can make is they fear either side too much. And if
Yeah.
you play too defensively, you kind of just give up those angles for free damage. If you fear the Slayer and you're trying to dig your heels in and defend, all it's going to take is like Ballista and Bolt, pop, pop, pop from range, and you've just lost too much health to be comfortable with. You can't win the fight anymore. So I'm interested to see what happens in, I believe our final map should be Extraction, which is far and beyond from the rest. Lots and lots of corners to take.
Spicy. All right, let me see if I can desummon our players from Discord and just Okay, that worked. Let me see if I can spawn him right into this next game. So
You are so nervous on every transition. I can feel it. Ever since the invisible Tokyo.
Dude, there's a lot because these players being so high skill, like with Heartbeat showing us what skill looks like from the Slayer of how to do the DPS, how to do the dance, and then with this tactical aggression you have coming out of SwanSong and NzTa. There's just so much that I just hope that we can get them straight into Extraction. Here we go. Okay.
Now, Extraction is really interesting because as the demons, you quite often kind of dig your heels in at the start of the spawn. This is where fights can break out really early on. It depends on what the Slayer wants to do, but there's lots of entrances, and that really is what it comes down to. I mean, just look at how many options. You can see that there's lots of different ways you can go. Actually, looks like she's eyeing up the teleporter first for some early aggression. You kind of need to make this one count. The immediate escape to try and get some of that free damage. Not a bad shout. You just got to be careful with how much damage you take on the way in. But it looks like right now, NzTa and Swan, they're using this as a go-ahead to just be somewhat aggressive here.
Which is really interesting, because as soon as she pops through that teleporter, she's trying to interrupt basically the summoned demons that the demons are spawning in to sort of give them a little bit of defense and breathing room. But they responded really well by barely backing up and then just going straight up on the offensive. Because you see... Oh, I did not actually expect that to go down.
That's the deletion right there. But there's a 1v1. Ooh. This is a rare footage of a 1v1 coming out, and NzTa's going to win it.
Wow.
Well, how about that?
That could have gone either way right there. But again, like you said, there was that no fear play. Okay, right away she's switching to Burning Hate in the end of round thing. She wants more armor. Because you saw she ran out of armor, she ran out of resources. What about the demons?
The same thing we've always seen, and is that level of consistency. It's taking the bigger bar for NzTa, the fit meatball, and I mean, you kind of understand why. It is always about how the matchup changes because of how drastic each of these end-of-round upgrades tend to be. I think there's a level of comfort. Swan needs to be able to maneuver more than he is, otherwise he's a sitting duck, he said it himself. NzTa needs the bigger bar to take this fight a lot better. You combine it with the Wolf. I'm going to only assume, again, that we're going to see the best friend come through. But for now, it's just all about trying to use that damage reduction and that aggression, you know, kind of combine the two. And her attention is consistently split, and this is the difficult side of it. NzTa having to be quite respectful, but taking a fair amount of damage himself, but he's not too unhealthy. 1.4k stack, that's totally fine. Heartbeat, on the other hand, look at her count. She's having to disengage and try and get that back up immediately. She's playing very hit and run here, Tokyo.
And you see she switches her mod on her rocket launcher. So she's out of ammo. She's in a situation where she can't just go and chainsaw that Arachnontron. He's too big to take down with just a mere chainsaw. So she's a little bit on the back foot. As you see, they're healthy as hell right now. And she has a pretty good stack, but not having ammo is like not having anything for a Slayer. The Slayer needs to be able to do damage, needs to be able to do that high DPS. So she is just skirting around the map, looking for fodder, trying to stay out of their sight lines now. It's a little bit of a reversal here, but look, she went in, she got the chainsaw, she's got her resources, so I think the tide might change here.
Yeah, the loot block was used, so that is going to make things a little bit trickier. Having access to this teleporter, I strongly do believe that this is one of the maps that has the most useful teleporters because the distance is so massive, and if you're going to try and head off one of the entrances, you split yourselves up massively as the demon team. This is important too because there's just enough time to get some of that flame belch on deck for the armor. But again, they're really trying to head her off, and as long as she has low ammo, look, like all of her rockets are already gone, and this is a scary situation. NzTa is going to get hit a little bit by the 1v1. Misfires on the Noxious Aura just a little bit. Doesn't manage to get a huge amount, but another wonderful block coming out. And this is going to be really hard for Heartbeat. You know, the health just isn't there.
Exactly. And you see that Heartbeat so smartly, like one of the best anti-Marauder techniques is using that remote detonate on the rocket launcher because you have to keep the Marauder. You basically, almost just like in fighting games, you start zoning him out because his whole game has to be, and you see as NzTa loves the super shotgun up close, he's trying to move in, he's trying to close that distance to get max damage, and she's so smartly, the only reason she's running out of rockets is because she's popping them to do that remote detonate and basically keep the Marauder at bay, keep him honest.
And again, chain gun being used not for damage, but for sustainability to just match fire with fire when Swan goes in for the shield of his own. There it is again, you know, ask and you shall receive. We see it more. And some good range damage that Swan was definitely not expecting. Wonderful use of the meat hook to just try and maneuver around there and just get out of dodge. But here comes that sort of 1v1. Has to waste a little bit of time to get that stack. Remember, you can't loot block the stack that comes from a demon kill. That stuff is guaranteed.
Right.
And hang on a minute.
Putting it right on the money. There was so much damage done just then that all of a sudden NzTa's on the super back foot, and there's only so much dash available, but guess what? just enough time passed where SwanSong, the fit meatball, is in the air and ready to... Oh, no, the surprise attack comes out.
Yeah, this is not where you want to be, and there is still time before the demon spawns, but SwanSong with the shield already down. This is why you have to put so much care in, and they have to, while they're being aggressive, you got to be aware of what shields are up and all that stuff. The Tactician and Best Friend coming out again from the demon team. Master Carve. This doesn't surprise me at all because she was constantly out of ammo. And that chainsaw, I mean, it shuts it down immediately. You can use the chainsaw at the start of the round to bait a block. By the time you need it, it's back again. It is vital on some of these maps because you just won't be able to get the ammo otherwise.
It really is. And you saw that a lot of that was possible because of the way that she was doing zoning. Again, she's using the meat hook for pure traversal almost. Every now and then she would pull herself close to maybe try a chainsaw. But in general, she's trying to zone them out. And the best way to do that is to make sure that when you pop it, just like here, you pop that chainsaw, it's as fast as possible and you know that Pip is going to come back.
No loot block was used. And that is more so after I've played with Swan quite a lot. It's very common that they won't use their block immediately because they know you haven't gone through enough ammo for it to be worth the block.
So they're saving it.
That's very saving it because they know that at the start of a round it's not really worth using the block because they've burned through a tiny bit of ammo. Who cares? Wait until it counts and then use it.
And you see both of them right here. They're both kind of like waiting for her to come to them. They're doing the peppering that they wanted to do, and they're knowing that they both have that loot block, and they're being tactically aggressive by basically holding up right now and sort of camping this room because they realize they've got their two defenders in there. They've got their shield boys, and when she comes in, she has the escape, of course, but again, they're just counting in their heads right now, I bet, ammo and everything else. Okay, there we go. That's the meat hook straight into the chainsaw. Double chainsaw was done. Loot blocks are going to start popping off, and look, they're doing what they do best. They're healing. They're getting ready for the next attack. And it's going to have to be now, Ketchup.
Yeah, this is the time you have to get the damage. You need to make pretty sure every range shot counts because they came off better in that fight. And this is before the double team heal becomes a factor. The mobility, again, just to try and get in and out. This is a scary situation to be in. Neither side really that comfortable, but yeah, the chase is on. Damage reduction's been used. NzTa is going to go full throttle with the rush down again, and Heartbeat forced to go up top. You know, the moment that damaging aura appears, oh, hang on a minute, that's some damage you don't want to take.
That frag grenade was so crucial right there. She predicted that exact angle where she knew that if he's chasing, which is what the Marauder does best, it was going to hit him square away, and it did. And then he had to back up, use the team heal. But see, look, they're getting healthier and healthier all the time. SwanSong's at about half health, but NzTa still is healthy enough to actually do some pretty decent pushing. But look, that Master Carve is coming out in spades. She's getting ammo. The chainsaw is going faster. She's trying to do a little bit of burn because guess what? As she's in this fight, that magnet is just pulling those armor shards in. Oh, God. This is such a pressure situation right now.
Dedicated so hard into this, she had no choice but to dedicate to the weaker target, and it is actually going to pay its dues, able to get one of the two demons, so the guaranteed stack's going to come back, and the ammo, more importantly. But right now, the question is, can Swan kind of elude long enough? The resurrect's going to happen. Fair to assume it should be totally fine. I actually think Heartbeat not satisfied, and looks like NzTa might just inch it out, and the spawn comes, but this is the danger. If Swan goes down now, they're going to be constantly separated. This is where you don't want to be as the demons because you need that teamwork. You mechanically cannot 1v1 a Slayer. So if Heartbeat can now find NzTa, I mean, he's done. He's a done deal. And now he's going to be running for his life. Does he have time to get away? That is the magic question too.
And it's so risky because she's got the double dash. She can actually use the Slayer's the only one on this whole entire map, in every map, that she can use these jump pads. So for the skin of his teeth, he escaped that. The team heal comes out. They think they have enough distance to be safe for a little bit. Let's see if that's actually true or not, because that heal is actually doing pip-wise pretty good for him. They're doing everything they can to be defensive. You saw the wolf comes out. The wolf is ready to not only spot but do that damage. Okay, the wolf is giving chase, which means Heartbeat's giving chase, but oh, that ballista shot is so crucial.
Remember, team heal isn't even necessary in this situation because Swan has Tactician. It makes your action skills last longer, which means in turn you get way more health. Eventually NzTa is going to drop. This is that kind of game of chicken again. Is Swan going to be able to survive? He's popped the shield now, but it's a bit worrying because that's early. He has 10 seconds now to try and get around without it. We've seen the damage of a Slayer who's quick switching, and it looks like perhaps this should be just all right. 1 second on the clock. NzTa's going to come back. Swan, critical once more, and he's going to drop. And it's the stack and the ammo. That's really what you're worried about. And now Heartbeat, I mean, more than ready to chase down NzTa.
Okay, so this is really interesting. It's a one-on-one. It's never where you want to be as a demon. However, you did see that NzTa, quite properly, he popped that shield, and there's something that's weird. It only does so much protection, but there is like a psychological thing that happens there where you just feel like, do I need to push right now because he has a little bit of a health buff? I don't know if I want to, but Sentinel infused. She's going to start with a bigger stack, both of armor and health.
This is a game of stack, Tokyo. This is a game of stack. The double team heal, I mean, it's been working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly.
Sentinel infused means that if Heartbeat wants to play this hit and run game style, just gets a little bit of an extra safety barrier. But now looking to pepper out that damage. Looks like her outline wasn't hidden, so fair to assume they had somewhat of an X-ray on her, especially with that axe that came from NzTa. But also you got extra information. You can look at the demons and see what direction they're looking in and follow their line of sight. Often it will take you to the Slayer. A fight's going to break out here. The damaging aura has already been put down, and she's getting some good damage. But there's the team heal. Swan at death's door. Snap your fingers. No longer.
That team heal was clutch.
And this is scary.
Yeah, Swan... incorrectly, even though he's using Fit Meatball, when he dashed, he put himself right into the middle of the room, which he had to immediately try to bail. Luckily, NzTa pushed at that moment, and here we have a situation.
We go, though.
Here we have a situation, folks. Miss Heartbeat is all of a sudden... deleted
You fly too close to the sun, Tokyo. you try and push super hard.
That Fit
Pushes
Meatball
really hard
got
there for Swan.
He got straight Icarus right off of... He got extracted off of extraction.
Oh, my God.
Y'all.
One hit away from death. Oh, you can't even afford to take the ground damage at this point. And she gets him, but it's like a second too late.
Oh my God,
This is bad news.
Swan got in there by the skin of his meatball. I don't know how that just happened, actually. I was counting down with the counter, and I still thought that she actually had it. But look at this. Okay, she's completely getting her ammo back up. Her stack is really healthy.
This
but
is
all of a sudden,
intelligent.
but Swan has got a pretty decent stack himself. Oh, until he just hit that ballista shot right in his face. Okay, again.
The healing aura, I think it's the healing area is back, and the shield was too. So again, it's going to waste a little bit of time. We're going to see if the chase is going to work out. I mean, this is a scary situation. This is a nightmare if you are a demon. You don't want to be separated like this. And Heartbeat, she's just forcing the issue. There's so much confidence coming in between because it's how she's able to manage her ammo too. In between these fights when she knows it's not worth chasing, let's get some stack up instead. However, NzTa turning the tide with the damage area. That one hurts.
That lock-on rocket, though. So much damage that you see he has to start playing. Oh, he's playing pretty aggressive still.
The heal.
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's alive right now. I don't know how he is, to be honest.
But it's enough time for Swan to come in, and this actually just became a very scary 2 versus 1. That should be a block. Yeah, the block's going to get used. Heartbeat force on the back foot. How has she lost control? That's the scary thing. She was in control for like the round began.
That team heal and NzTa's crazy, weird, like semi-aggressive to like roly-poly rope-a-dope. It seems to be like he's using his double jump and his dashes just right enough. Okay, she's on the back foot. She went through the teleporter. She's trying to regain stack. She's out of fuel, so now she can't just hit it again if she starts popping off with this. And look, she gets that poke. Oh no, that lock-on rocket. NzTa, but the team heal basically negated the whole thing.
You can see the strength of it. It lets you be so confident as the demons. No longer do you have to fear what he brings to the table, because now you can go pound for pound. You can take the punishment, and then you can team heal together. And remember, when you have Tactician, without Tactician, your healing cube is about a 52-second cooldown. With Tactician, it's like 34, and it lasts longer. Like, that is a significant cooldown change. Enough here to keep you healthy. And in these situations now, Heartbeat force on the back foot again. They've been able to reestablish their presence on the map. They're both healthy. It's 2 versus 1 again. She's not keeping them separated, and now she's just trying to back up and fight for her life. Get that range damage when you can, but they're not making it easy.
No, they aren't, because she's out of armor. So she has to flame belch, but in order to flame belch, she needs a little bit of breathing room, and she needs a couple of fodder demons in order to... Oh, God. The dog is down. The wolf is going to look for her. Okay, she's chainsawing, but again, they block that loot. So now she's in a situation where she needs to farm fodder. It needs to happen. She cannot take this 1v1 or 2v1 like straight on. It's just she doesn't have any options.
Indeed. And we can see now she's incredibly weak, and this looks like it might about be it.
Oh, the aggression.
The shield comes out, but that might just be delaying the inevitable, and it will indeed, forcing her away. The damaging aura is going to shut that one down and going into a final round again. How about that?
And you saw how interesting it was that, like, Swan, who's usually playing that eye in the sky, that fit meatball. Wow, it's a lot of damage right off the bat.
Yeah, there's a fight here, Token. Oh my god.
You saw that he actually was using his dash to literally push her with his shield into NzTa, who was on the other side just dealing that shotgun damage, but she is not backing down from this fight. She is taking that meatball off the board.
But the team heal.
Oh,
the heal and the damage!
And the Noxious Hazard, it's all out on the board. Oh, will she be able to survive this? Ooh.
Unlikely at this rate. Far too weak. And although Swan dropped down, it's not enough because NzTa just had the killing shot lined up. And that's it. If you push super hard and you dedicate, that was an all or nothing decision at the last second. That was, I push and I get one of you and I heal and I either get out or I get both of you at once. Double team heal. I mean, I really do think that is quite a sort of meta establishing play for me. It's super important and it's so readily available that Slayers can no longer be that extremely aggressive for almost no punishment, because normally it's you push and you get a frag, you stack back up and you can finish the job. The second there's a coordinated team heal, it becomes almost impossible. Like that's a dangerous tactic and enough to give us a close map. GGs.
Yeah.
They were all GGs. They were good games.
Hyper GGs. As I bring back from the power of the internet, I spawn them back in. The teammates. I want to say, just like Spanker Prime says, this is a perfect way to put it. Those matches alternated between a chess match and a slugfest. Like talk us through these like drastic changes within the same map. Like round to round, I feel like I was watching completely different games. Like Swan, if you want to kick us off first, like from round one, I almost feel like we need to go like play by play, like second by second, but just like what the hell just happened? Because there was so many like tactics and skill just being like up against each other, and I feel like the way that you guys were flipping the switches back and forth between she's aggressive, you're aggressive, like you guys, like what the hell just happened? Like what? How did that match just go? Like I feel like I wanted like 6 more rounds at least. And
play it back in slow motion.
You know, so like with round one, like NzTa, if I remember correctly, he clutched that out. Like when I died and we got that one, I was like, whoa, we got that one. And it's always awesome to have NzTa as a partner, because he'll pull stuff like that out sometimes. And I'm like, oh, we're dead. And then all of a sudden, like, God, you got him? Oh, awesome.
He just pulls that Daisy out of the hat. And you're like, Daisy's on this map? Wait a second.
So we felt comfortable. We had one in the bank. We always want to win one round, because we know if we win one round, we'll have team heal, right? So that's a one notch in our belt. So then when round two came, we had a really weak, right? So then we were fully healthy. And we were like, okay, this is good. This is exactly where we want her. And she played out of it. Like she turned the momentum on her side, and she took that round. I mean, we were talking about afterwards. So like, man, we gave her that round, man. We can't make that mistake again. We can't make her just let her do her thing. Of course, we can't be too aggressive, because that's why we gave her the respect in the first place, because we know she could delete us, you know. But this map is great too, because there are things that I can try to hide from, you know, like those some things that I can hide from, and sometimes like I don't know if we played it perfectly, because sometimes, you know, you've played enough of demons, you can mess up the loot blocks just because you don't know if the other person's in the line of sight, although you can hear the chainsaw. But sometimes you just, you know, you're right there, you see it, even though it might be your partner's turn to do it, you just do it because you just don't want to take the chance, and just deal with the repercussions afterwards. But
that is such a mood, Swan.
And then and the thing about it is when she like after when it was 2-2, that was a long round. Like that was one of the most satisfying rounds of like all the times I've played battle mode, and we knew it. So then it's like when she came in like just full throttle, I love that play. I love that play from her, because I thought inside is like, she's like, man, I just got this long grueling match of these guys. I can't let team heal be the deciding factor. I'm just going to go and delete. And I love that that was like part of her game plan. It didn't work out. But I loved it. I love that play. So, I mean, there's always going to be a winner and a loser. And like we play enough matches, it's, you know, she's going to come ahead and we're going to come ahead. In just this case, we came ahead, you know, so it's the game is balanced, and that's what's got me excited. That's got me like happy to play. And the beauty at the beginning of the game of like a mode like this is that you're bringing in all these new people. Like today, we got someone in Discord that's from Sweden that can play the Arc Vial really good because
Nice.
Miss Heartbeat is like, hey, I ran into an Arc Vial that's awesome.
Exclusively,
like,
by the
"Get him
way, a
in here."
specialist.
Like, yeah,
Ooh.
get him in here and let's play. So
Ooh.
like, these are the exciting times of like to get into a new game, and yeah, I'm excited.
Now,
It's been a lot of fun.
Heartbeat. So you did a really good job of like on the subject of like those longer rounds where you were kind of consistently having to play the runaway game, and then somehow you can just reestablish a level of control over the map. For all the Slayers out there that they're good at using the right weapons, they're good shot, but they get put in a position where, okay, I didn't manage to kill anyone, and now my ammo's low, and now they're being aggressive. That is quite a scary position to be in, and I think that really is almost a point of no return for a lot of players. How do you manage to overcome that as a player? What kind of advice would you give those players, judging by how you can stay on top of it yourself? What's the stuff to look out for?
Well, it's an extremely scary situation to be in. My heart was pounding throughout that entire match. It was so intense. Um, when it comes to getting back resources, it's why I picked both Burning Hate and Mastercarve, because I didn't need the dash as much. I needed resources. I needed it more than fast movement, and so that's why I took those upgrades. But also, like you just have to run away whenever you see the demons. When you're in that position, you just have to nope out of the situation entirely, even if it means you have to go around the entire map just to find a single zombie, because you're not going to one hit and like you're done. You're done. You can't take that damage, and it's
I love
it
that
was
term
really
nope
hard.
out. I'm immediately stealing and copywriting nope out. I love it so much. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's just too good. Noping out is my new favorite
That's
thing.
okay. And like Niz and Swan, they were just so good at keeping up their health even before they got team heal. And once I knew that they had team heal, it's like, what am I going to do? I can't do enough damage on this map, and this map is my favorite because it's the toughest for the Slayer, and I like the challenge of the map. I like not having too many angles on the demons, because I know that if I do, it will be a little too easy to kill them.
What a gamer.
I'm telling you, what an absolute
But
legend in the
Elite
making
level.
the double team heal, it allows them to tank so much damage, and it's insane. Um, I don't think I've seen NzTa and SwanSong use any other combination of uh power upgrades. So I'd be interested to see how they use them, but I
Hmm.
haven't seen them do that so far.
I like it.
And
I like seeing it because it really is just about, I think, the growth of the mode. I think it's fair to say, and we've all seen it around social media and stuff. The community is so undecided on which side like has the edge on PC Eternal, that it really is forcing both sides to just try and like reinvent how they approach it. Instead of being a demon side and being like, damn, this Slayer's doing a lot of damage to us, just looking at the different upgrades and thinking, right, how can we go toe to toe with that? And right now, at least for Swan and NzTa, the double team heal is kind of like that trump card, and then it becomes the Slayer's job to think, right, what do I do about that? How do I reach that next level? And I mean, it's like we're barely even a month, if that. I'm excited to see how things develop.
Exactly.
I just can't do enough. I can't do enough damage to take down those huge health bars, because NzTa's always using his wolf and his defense buff to tank all of my damage. And I just didn't know how to react to that. On top of me just missing half of my ballista shots against him.
Well, that's the thing, right? It's this idea that it demands that you must hit everything, which puts a lot of pressure on the Slayer's shoulders, right? Like that becomes quite a task where it's like, okay, the only way to win is to play perfect, easy, go. And it's like, okay,
Yeah.
But that
As opposed to other games, accuracy just doesn't just benefit your time to kill. Like if you miss shots, you feel it later on in the game because you're not
Mm.
gonna have enough ammo.
But that's exactly it. It's like you take that crazy like mountain to climb as a Slayer player, right? Like you're just like, I have to be perfect. It's just like in single player, like you're playing Nightmare, you're playing Ultra Nightmare, you're leveling up, you're skilling up, and you go, when I die, every time I die, like I know what I did and I know what I need to do next time. Because whether it's a single missed shot or it's a fumble of a switch of a weapon or it's I should have burned before I did a glory kill, or it's all these little things that you just keep like ticking and going through and like upgrading in your mind of like, okay, this is every death is not a mistake, it's a lesson. And like I feel like you showed us that too. Like honestly, like I'm blown away and so happy, Heartbeat, that you are new to this community and already showing people like how it's done. So like it's awesome. And again, we haven't even mentioned there's this crazy aggressive silent player in chat right now named NzTa, who is just
who 1v1 Slayer in round 1, by the way.
There's a silent killer and his name is NzTa. Like NzTa, you're playing that like there's twice at least where you did a one-on-one with Heartbeat. You had arguably a worse stack, but somehow you clutched out. Like how did you clutch so hard in this match in particular? Like what were your tactics?
Just shoot.
Yes. Somehow, NzTa, I knew you'd say that.
That is the most NzTa answer.
He's a lot more consistent than me. I can't hit my shots.
And to be frank, like that, my whole game plan is to let NzTa carry me.
Yeah.
Like seriously, like the more I can be carried by NzTa, the better. Meaning that the better that I can do at not being a sitting duck and not being free, the better we do. Like, and that's the whole game plan of, I think, like a pain elemental, because he could do some scrappy damage, he can be annoying, he can do blocks and stuff like that, but it's important for him to stay alive. Like the longer you can stay alive, you let your carry character do it. And like I have like NzTa is a good character, a great carry character.
Yeah.
Yes, one. I mean, it's not only are you. Well, the thing about you, Swan, the way you approach this is that you're not only this kind of tank, you are a massive source of utility for NzTa, right? Like you are constantly putting down the heals, especially when you get Tactician again. Don't want to bore everyone with numbers, but that cooldown goes from like 52 seconds to like 34. Like it's massively significant. On top of the fact that you've got more information, you're flying around the map, you can see the Slayer more. You're relaying locations. You're telling everyone where he is and stuff. Like you're almost like a portable radar that can heal things. It's very cool.
And then you have a shield to defend, but like exactly like you said, it's like
little man's.
It's that eye in the sky, because as soon as you see the Slayer, he is going to be visible even when the Slayer crosses Geo and becomes behind a wall for a certain small window. So Swan is always just like peeking out just enough to hopefully not get ballista straight to precision scope, straight to meat hook, straight to double barrel. But a lot of times like that information is giving Niz the ability to clutch out. And I also love how when Swan was like, I know he's a carry player and I let him carry me, and Niz was like, yeah, he's like, you do. He's like, I put you right here, and he's like, I just walk around with you like a little backpack, and you're my meatball in the sky.
I think that's important to have like a damage dealer and a support. I haven't tried a double damage dealer comp to see, but Swan does good utility, like floating around, and when I die, he can res me. Healing comes in handy.
Yeah, and I feel
and the thing is, the damage that a pain elemental could do, it is significant, because you could make it to where the Doomslayer, I might not kill him, but I might make the Slayer worry. Right, and so when they're worried about their stack, then they're not shooting at me. That plays right into my hands. So like, if I could do enough annoying damage, then hey, they're not paying attention to me. Oh, now they're in trouble, because it's like you're letting me live, and now you're gonna account for this. Like even if you kill the Marauder, then I have enough stack for him to come back to life, right? And the longer the match goes, the RNG is always going to be, I think, in the favor of the demons, just because, there's demons attacking the Slayer, they have a higher chance of messing up, right? Because if they do something wrong, they get damage that they weren't supposed to from a demon. That's just bonus for us, right?
They just pay
like,
for that
bonus for the
immediately,
demons,
right?
yeah.
Not to mention, there's even those mid-round picks you can do where you're literally getting resources from the demons that you spawn that are actually doing damage for you. So it's like a win-win in that case.
Right.
For sure. All right. Well, it has been an. Go ahead, Miss Heartbeat.
I just wanted to say that SwanSong's mind games are real. Like he really controls my emotions throughout the match. I'm so scared of him sometimes.
That's what a real Pain Elemental does. He's just like a
We just peek
meatball.
around a corner like, you want some of this?
I'll be
He
right
goes
back.
out. Oh, you can't get it. Sorry.
It's the Ghost Pain Elemental. He just goes boo.
Oh my god.
I love it. Well,
That's frighteningly accurate, no pun intended.
It really is. This has been a legendary set of matches. So Miss Heartbeat as an absolute killer slayer, SwanSong as this ghostly mind game meatball, and NzTa as the pressure unit, the marauder that literally is just stacking stuff on his back.
Clap sound
I know,
like,
right? Like, seriously, thank you guys so much for these matches. They have been incredible. Let's get an F in chat and make it a capital one, because that was so much fun to watch you guys play. So thank you guys for coming on and showing us what it's like when it's just skill versus tactics and aggressive.
Hey, thanks for putting on this production, because it's amazing. The commentary, I'm gonna watch it over again, right? So it was awesome, and I can't wait to see the other matchups that come in the future. Like, it's like I get my popcorn, it's like I really want to enjoy it. Like, I'm having to commentate, make me nervous, it's like I want to just watch it, have popcorn.
Bring that out of people's
Yeah, ketchup will make you pop popcorn. Ketchup will like literally go to your microwave and like just like popcorn will appear, and you will be ready to like listen to Ketchup do what he does. What were you gonna say, Ketchup?
I was going to say, just from a personal note, I really appreciate everyone that has put this together. I know Tokyo, he's put on a lot of work to get this stream up and running. The players, obviously, it doesn't work without you and the gameplay you provided, so thank you so much for that. A huge thank you to everyone that's watching in chat, whether you're a dev, whether you're a reviewer, just a fan. Again, this doesn't happen without your support and your interest. I really would love to know what you thought of it. We wanted to try something new today, and it's been a really fun experience and a really fun chill stream. It's far from the days where Doom 2016 tournaments, it was once a year at QuakeCon. That was the only time there'd be a stream with commentary and all that stuff. Once a year at QuakeCon, that was it. I really like the fact that even with Doom Eternal, it's only just come out, and there's opportunities for the community to come together and really celebrate this game mode, celebrate this game, and just show the layers that high-level battle mode brings to the table. It's a really good experience, and I've enjoyed every second of it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And so,
this is awesome.
Thank you guys. Go ahead, Harvey.
The production quality for everything is it's amazing, and I seriously want to thank everyone that's been working on this, and I want to thank everyone at Software and Developer and Bethesda. You're amazing. You're absolutely amazing as personally as an aspiring game developer. I love you all. You are so inspiring.
And my last final note, Hugo, thank you for signing my stick at QuakeCon.
Look at this.
You're the man.
Look
You're the man.
this.
You're the man. Look, it's right there. It's right there.
Oh, dang.
All right, just for a second.
I had to flex.
I'm going to only despawn these lovely people up top for a second, because we have to talk about next week. Next week is already lined up. This is Friday night fights. We do this every week. And so every week we have the quality that you see here tonight, the skill, the matches. And next week I have to do a shout out. Let's just see what we got. Okay. We're pulling in.
This is new.
We're pulling in some guns. And by guns, I mean a whole lot of them. And by a whole lot of them, I mean these Maestro boys. So Maestro is an esports org run by an absolutely incredible set of individuals. Huge shout out to Nigel, my boy. These are some legends. Two of them are currently in the Quake Pro League. So this is going to be really spicy and really interesting, because you've got Razy, who plays the Doomslayer in Quake Champions, and you've got Venger and Garpy that are going to be the Demon team. And this is happening April 24th, same bat time, same bat channel, right here in the Bethesda Twitch. And I got to tell you, like, this is going to be some spice. There's going to be some spices thrown around in this match. And by match, I mean
Yes.
matches. And by matches, I mean 1 week from today. Ketchup.
It's
walk me
also,
through where you at.
I mean, yeah, it's also a mix of generations. Obviously, with Razy and Wenger being in the Quake Pro League currently, you can see that on Sunday, I believe. Yeah, Sunday, of course, it's the weekly, so you get to watch them compete if you want to. But it's the generation gap. Garpy has been in Quake Pro League already. He was in the stage 1. The thing about Garpy is he is a rather legendary FPS player in general. He's been competing for years in loads of different arena FPS.
Yeah.
I am particularly excited to see how he picks this up, because he can pick up new games like that.
That's a
He
good
just
point.
has the talent for it. He has the talent for it.
He might
And
be an old soul,
yeah.
but he does have that newness as far as like a new game. He is like one of the quickest people, like you just said, to download those new metas and that new strat. But he's coming up against just like the newest of new blood. Like Wenger from Italy is an absolute aim god. And Razy,
Yep.
do not upset Razy and then try to play him in a game, because he will show you why you do not upset him. He is like the ultimate pressure unit. So watching his Slayer next week might be a little exciting. I got to tell you, it might be really, really hype. So again, this is Friday Night Fights. I am Tokyo Punch-Out, joined by the legend, the one, the only, P&D Ketchup, who I could literally listen to just walking me through eating actual fries and ketchup. Like, thank you so much. I love you for being here. Everyone in chat, you guys make this possible. Like, I've loved seeing all your comments so far, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much. We love you. Goodbye. Yeah, GG's, guys. That was really fun. That's because Ketchup can fucking see the future. That turns out that's an advantage, Ketchup.